Hello and welcome. I am Elena Valdez. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. Today's reading is for Aquarius and it's the Solar Return Tarot reading. And what I'll be doing is I will be reviewing each house of the 12 houses of the astrological zodiac. I'll be picking a card for each house and we'll be going through potential themes for the rest of the year for you, because this is a solar return reading. So it's valid from this birthday through next birthday. So it's for 1 year. And let's get started. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. It would be very, very helpful if you did so. Trying to grow the channel and all that good stuff. And I'll explain each theme of every house as we go along. So let's do it. All right, Aqua. Oops, let's see. Hope you're all doing wonderful. 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7, 8. And I will go ahead and take a picture of your reading and I will post it as a thumbnail as we go along, or at the end, I mean. Let's see. 6, 7. Awesome. Yay. Yeah, they wanted to come out pretty fast today. It was like a quick, it's very interesting. Okay, let's see what we have. So we're going to start with the first house. So for the first house, you have Justice. Yeah, and so the first house is all about our physicality. It's about how people see us, but it's also our overall outlook in life. So the card that you get here is an indication of sort of where your headspace in terms of how you view yourself will be for the next year, and also how people are going to, how you will be representing to people throughout the year. And what's interesting is that the Justice card, it also represents Libra. So some of you might literally have Libra in the ascendant in your own natal chart. But Libra is all about, or Justice card is all about balance. It's about fairness. It's about doing the right thing. It's about doing whatever is necessary to find equilibrium in things. So you may be feeling a tug in terms of your outlook in life has shifted to be a little bit more about keeping balance. And I don't mean shift in the sense that you may not already be that way, but there's going to be more of an emphasis this year for you to carry through your tasks and everything, including those things related to the first house, which is your physicality, right? So even how you treat your body, what you put into your body, that kind of thing. And there's a tug here to do things with balance and also fairness. But when it comes to the body, it's also about eating humanely and eating things that feel fair, eating vegetables that are grown ethically, eating meat that has been taken care of ethically as well. Yeah, there's a big sense here of big concern with ethics and doing the right thing. And so the first house is what we call in astrology an angular house, and it sets the tone for everything else on the natal chart. Now, of course, this isn't your natal chart because your own natal chart is going to be different. And if any of you would like an actual astrological reading, I would love to do that for you. But in this case, since we're doing tarot cards, what it is, it's really, this card is setting the tone for, basically, it's like the root of everything else and all the other things that we're going to talk about. Right? It's like the foundation. It's what roots everything else. So bottom line is, Aquarius, there's a sense, you feel this urgency to go out into the world and do the right thing. Now, earlier in the year, we had that huge, or actually December 21st, we had that huge conjunction, that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in your sign at 0 degrees. And, you know, Aquarius is all about humanity, right? You've got Saturn, you've got Jupiter. Jupiter's about expanding those things of Saturn. And Saturn is about the authority. It's about setting the rules and that kind of thing, right? And so you may be feeling more than anyone in terms of your astrological sign, the tug to get out, to put your sleeves up, roll up your sleeves, get out there and join big causes. Now, you're usually already like that. And I know that's a generalization to just say it like that, to make a blanket statement like that. But Aquarians in general do have that feeling of this knowing that they're meant to do more for humanity, if you will. But there's something more happening here for you. There's something new, a new revelation, a new awareness of the weight that you can, the change, the positive change that you can cause. All right, so that's the first house. So kind of already starting off a little like, oof, the little oomph, right? That's a major arcana to start off with. Okay. So your second house, this is beautiful. You got the Ace of Pentacles, and the second house is about our self-worth, our value, and literally all things tangible, like anything, all our resources that we ourselves own and have, not the resources that we earn through others. Or this is like our own investments that we have ourselves. And you got the Ace of Pentacles, which is beautiful because it's the beginning of growing something, or the beginning of a new investment that the sky's the limit because it's at its infancy. So perhaps you're learning something new regarding finances, how to invest, or perhaps you're getting into some kind of business venture that will affect your personal resources. But also what's beautiful about this is that it's very much about your self-esteem and your worth and your value. So the Ace of Pentacles is at the beginning stage. So some of you may have been maybe rebounding or not rebounding, but like revitalizing your self-esteem and your self-worth. Like you have found the beginnings of it, or perhaps you've gone through something, you went through something last year that really beat you up a bit, made you feel not so great about yourself. And so now Spirit is giving you this gift, this new beginning of here, look how great you are. And you're starting to see that. And the sky's the limit, right? Because you're starting it out. So you get to decide how you want to rebuild yourself. This is a rebuilding card. So, but it's a card that has huge possibilities and deep roots. And that's what's beautiful about getting this card in your second house of value, resources, all that good stuff, because it also applies to your money, right? Because the more our self-esteem and our value increases, it has a direct correlation and effect on our money and what we earn and whatnot. Okay, so now the third house, you got the Eight of Pentacles. So you're working on something. The Eight of Pentacles is all about working, like staying focused. Notice she has no other distractions. She's working on her craft. She's focused. Like this is what she's doing. And she knows that now is the time to do this. It's almost, again, I'm going back to that word urgency that I used earlier. It's like Aquarius, you woke up one day right around your birthday, or maybe before, and you're like, this is it. I got to make a change now. I got to do XYZ now. This is it. And so here she is, putting aside all distractions. So this is a reminder to put away all distractions, but it fell in the third house. And the third house is all about our neighbors. It's our siblings. It's also social media. It's marketing. It's communication. It's sales pitches. It's anything to do with creating a business, like the contractual parts of it, the busyness of it, right? It's ruled by Gemini. And so, and of course, it's going to be different on your own personal natal chart. But in general, Gemini rules the third house. And so this is a very cerebral house, right? It's about putting yourself out there. So you're going to be working hard and something along those themes. So either you're working hard on building closer relationships with your siblings, with your neighbors. Perhaps you have new neighbors that you're working on getting to know. But a big emphasis here on marketing, social media, putting yourself out there. It can be so many different things. So apply it the way that best resonates for you. But basically, you're busy. Whatever it is you're doing this year, you're not kidding around. Like this is it. And you know it. Okay, so for the fourth house, that's interesting. So there's this huge emphasis on working hard, right? To revitalize your life and rebuild yourself. And at the same time, in terms of your heart, in terms of your emotions and your spirituality, you're being asked to rest and heal. Perhaps some of you have been literally sick and there's been a health factor here, and Spirit is asking you to rest. Now, it fell in your fourth house. The fourth house is about family matters. It's about your deep roots. It's about your ancestry. It could be your nurturing parent as well. So for many of you, it is your mother, but for others of you, it was your father who played the mothering, nurturing role. And so the card of rest, which is the Four of Swords, fell there, indicating that there's something regarding those themes that you feel. It could also be about a house, like your literal home that you live in or used to live in. And there's something here that's being mourned, grieved, and healing needs to take place regarding those themes that I just named. Some of you could be missing a mother or the nurturing parent. Others of you could be taking care of a nurturing parent who may be going through something. And at the same time, Spirit is saying, don't forget to get your own rest. Don't forget about your own healing as well, because you will need it, especially if you're going through those heavy themes that we just mentioned, right? So it's very important for you to take that into consideration. By the way, after I give a quick spin of it all, I will come back and connect the dots with different things, okay? And also, if there's something that you require clarification on, please leave it in the comments and I'll make sure to reply as soon as I am able. Okay, and then you got Temperance in the 5th house. Again, so there is this strong sense of all within balance, all moderation, healing, rest, and staying focused, right, on whatever work it is that you're focusing on. Temperance in the 5th house. So Temperance also can represent the sign of Sagittarius. The Temperance is another balance card, right? But in different ways than, like Justice is about balance in our ethics, balance in our fairness, making sure we're not too much of a tit for tat kind of situation. And Temperance is balance when it comes to our physicality, balance in terms of our ideals, how we speak of our ideals, the information we take in. It's the card of Sagittarius, right? It's also perhaps a feeling of, it's another healing card too, by the way. So you have now a couple of cards indicating needing balance, healing, rest. But this fell in your 5th house. And the 5th house is about creativity. It's about romance. It's also the house where you build your own business. It represents our children, if we have any. And but the crux of it is creativity, the things we create. Okay, from scratch. And this doesn't have to mean like a painting or an instrument. It can be creating your business. Like, that is creativity, right? But you see, Temperance here is asking us to balance those things out while staying aligned to source and not forgetting the why of why we're doing something. The why here feels very important, like the values behind why you're setting up the business that you're setting up. Also, this is the romance house. So like, why are you choosing to date the person you're dating or want to date? Where does the ideal and the pragmatic and the soulful part of it, where does it all come together, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so for the 6th house, you got the Ace of Wands. Yeah, see, so there's some healing, there's some physical. Some of you may completely be revamping your diet, what you do with your routine, your day-to-day routines, your exercise habits, all of that, because the Ace of Wands fell in the 6th house, and the 6th house is about our routines. It's about potential illnesses. It's our health. It's also, our day-to-day work that we do, the day-to-day, whatever it is, whatever office we go into, the work that we do daily. A lot of people now obviously are working from home. So that's a little blurry now, right? Like, where does that fall now? But you got the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is the beginning, again, similar to the Ace of Pentacles, the beginning or the resurgence of your energy. So a lot of you are making some significant changes, are realizing that you need to balance yourselves in order to get this new energy that's necessary. Again, I'm going to go back and say what I said about this. There's something that might have happened last year or at the beginning of your birthday last year or anytime last year that really just took your energy away from you physically. I'm hearing sexually for a lot of you. And it messed with your self-esteem and your self-worth, your value, right? This is also root chakra related. And I mean, it's a lot. It's solar, sacral, but also root chakra. And root chakra is about our ability to to defend ourselves, protect ourselves, provide for ourselves. So there's a resurgence here that is giving fuel to the themes of the sixth house. And again, like I said, the themes of your sixth house is everything to do with the day-to-day routines that you create to maintain balance, to have a better lifestyle. Right? So it could be that now you're introducing maybe a hike in the morning or your Peloton or whatever exercises speak to you, because this is about doing the things that speak to you, especially this one. Okay? So you could be introducing, also, sixth house here. It could be about your work, the routines you're introducing, perhaps before you were overworking yourself, which is what got you to this point of feeling depleted, because I feel that you're going into this needing to, again, re-energize yourself. So this is an indicator that you're finding the strength to create new routines. Some of you are stepping up, speaking up to whomever creates your routine, your schedules, and letting them know this doesn't work for me anymore. And I need a new direction. Yeah. And what's good here is that you're listening to your body, because this is your body, right? Wands is our raw energy. It's the action. You're taking new action here to move forward. You're being inspired, because this is also a card of inspiration. So kudos to you. That's huge. All right, let's go to the seventh house. Yep, this confirms it. So there's some stuff here. You got Seven of Wands. And Seven of Wands here is the feeling that you need to protect yourself. You need to see her stance, where she's like, she has all these wands coming at her, and she's just doing her best to, I don't have time for you, just kind of like keeping them away, right? It's also about creating boundaries, and it's following your sixth house. And the seventh house is all about partnerships. It's all our relationships. It's not just our spouse relationship. It's also our business partners, the people that we work with day to day. It's the contracts that we complete. It's, anything to do, like marriage, anything to do, even divorce is the seventh house. So here, there's a sense that you need to create some boundaries with some of the people in your life who have perhaps you're starting to know this is what you need. You're speaking up. Like I said earlier, you're drawing the line and you're saying, no, I need more energy, or I need a different schedule, or I need to do things a little differently because this is no longer working for me. And so here, Spirit is confirming, do what you need to do to create this little bubble around yourself. And it's okay if people don't agree with you, because those wands are opposing you. So basically, it symbolizes other people's views opposing yours. And not understanding, well, why do you need to come in a little later? Why do you need to jump on a call at 9 a.m. versus 8 a.m. like you used to? Well, because now you're going out on a hike or a walk, or you're doing your planks in the morning, or you're doing something that is important for you, even just picking up a book early morning and reading, because you've realized that you haven't been doing, or you didn't do for a while. Take care of yourself first. And so now you're setting the boundaries, you're defending yourself, you're protecting yourself. This is about protecting health and body too. See, she's wearing her little workout outfit there on her yoga mat, or not her yoga mat, her meditation mat. And there's that beautiful inner light. So she knows exactly what she needs to do because she's being guided. See, there's that life force energy. It comes down to the crown chakra, through your third eye, it's your intuition, and then you just feel that raw energy. We all have that ability to access that knowing. You know exactly what it is you need. You're doing very well, Aquarius. I'm proud of you. Now, a reminder, because this is from 1 year to the next, right? So it's at the beginning of your birthday. So if you're not here yet, Don't worry, it's going to unfold. You need to allow the year to unfold. Some of you are already here. Some of you are already feeling this energy, while others will begin to feel it maybe in February, March, depending on your birthdays, depending on what's going on in your life. Okay, but remember, you can come back to this throughout the year and watch it. So let's move on to your 8th house. Yeah, you're like a newbie again. You're like being reborn. So the 8th house is the house of transformation. The 8th house is my favorite house. I love the 8th house. It's ruled by Scorpio. It's about rebirth. It's about dying to our own old identities and being reborn and allowing for transformation to take place. But the thing is that before transformation takes place, there's usually some chaos, right? So again, there's something you experience, some upside down thing where your whole world turned around for some of you, for many of you actually, that now you're the apprentice. You're starting over because the Page of Pentacles is the apprentice. He's starting over in his craft, or he's learning a new craft. You know, somebody said, there's someone, I think it was one of my teachers, one of my astrology teachers recently said, what did he said? He said something along the lines that apprentice, the definition of apprentice means to do things with joy. Right? Not because you have to, not because you're paid for it, but because you enjoy it. And so, and that's really what this is about. You're transforming into your new joy, right? But what's beautiful about the Page of Pentacles, even though you're starting over and you're embracing the beginning of this, you are humble to it. Your mind is open to it, right? And the Pentacles are all things tangible. Money, spirituality, the groundedness in you. You're taking it with joy. Not only are you taking it with joy, but there's this humility, this humble way of doing things that's going to help you go far. It's going to allow you to truly enjoy it because there's no have-tos, right? And so let me just give you a couple of themes of the 8th house. So the 8th house, like I said, transformation, rebirth, but it also is other people's resources. So it can be taxes, right? So perhaps you are paying some old taxes, starting from scratch, building up your credibility in that area. It basically represents money that we gather from others. So the loans that we get, the taxes, it's also the place of inheritance. You know, so there's something here about either it's a small amount that you're gathering, but again, remember what we were saying, even if it's small, sky's the limit because you can build up from that point, right? So, but this is beautiful. This is definitely another indication. You got 1, 2 aces, and now a Page of Pentacles card. 3 cards of beginnings and starting, you know, starting from the beginning. So sky's the limit. And that's 3 houses that affect a lot. 2 houses of finances, 1 about your health and routine. So you've got a lot of great new beginnings here. Okay, let's move on to the 9th house. Okay, so the 9th house is about our higher learning. Oh, actually, I failed to mention your 3rd house over here is also the house of the student. So you could be working hard, learning some new, it's like the 101s of things, right? So, and it's connected to the 9th house, which is why I just like thought of it. And I forgot to mention that it is the house of the student as well. So working hard, potentially you're learning some new courses of some sort. So the 9th house is about, mastership too. Like once you learn, you go to the 9th house and you teach it, or you graduate to the 9th house where you go to higher learning and higher levels of that course that you took in the 3rd house. Perhaps now you've become a graduate level or more of an advanced level, right? And so you got the Devil there. It's also the house of travel and foreign affairs, whether it's literally doing business with foreigners over the phone or online, or literally traveling to other lands to do business with foreigners or not, or even just have fun, just go, travel or whatnot. So the Devil also symbolizes Capricorn, or it represents Capricorn as well. So Capricorn is about it's ruled by Saturn, so you could be experiencing a lot of structure in ninth house matters, or maybe a little feeling of maybe a little restricted, maybe like there's like this heaviness about it that's making you feel like you have to do this, you cannot have any other distractions. You could potentially be teaching something as well. You could potentially be preparing something for either overseas or in a different neighborhood that you've never lived in before. Perhaps some of you, I just really heard loudly that some of you are moving to teach somewhere. That's what I hear. Got to say it. Now, the devil in its shadow, it's about beating ourselves up. It's about our addictions. It's our shadow sides. It's the things that are there that have a lot of influence in our lives, but potentially we haven't faced yet or worked on it, or it's always there. That shadow is always there, and we can work with it. We can figure out ways to work with that shadow aspect, right? So that it elevates us and pushes us forward instead of pulling us behind. So this is a reminder in anything that has to do with ninth house matters. If you're starting to feel the heaviness of your shadow pulling you down, or the voices of, no, you can't do it. This is a reminder. This is a reminder, Aqua, that your shadow side does not have power over you. Okay? So for those of you who have not heard of shadow work, haven't done shadow work, there's tons of stuff on YouTube, online, on shadow work. Now, for others of you, it's got nothing to do with shadow work. For others of you, it's just the confirmation that, yes, you're going into this new rigorous training or teaching that you're doing that's going to feel a little restrictive. And that's okay, because you know what? Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, which represents the devil here, gives us structure at the end of whatever restrictiveness we feel. At the end of that, we get roots to whatever it is we're doing, or we develop and create and build roots. Okay, let's move on to the 10th house. The 10th house is our career. It's the social standing, how people see us. And you've gone through some stuff, to say the least. You got the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords in the 10th house tells me that you've had a lot of mental anguish regarding your career, or that you're going through some of that. But the good thing about the 10th house is that it's at the end of it. And it's interesting because you got this devil here, right? This shadow. So there's something about this 9th house stuff that you're doing, this teaching, this either the teaching you're doing or the high level learning that you're doing that is supposed to spill into your career here. And there's anguish. You're nervous, right? Because you're not there yet. You haven't finished this, whatever that is, the learning or the teaching that's supposed to convert to success in this area of the 10th house, which again is the 10th house, or is the career house. So you're in your head about it, understandably so, right? You're nervous. You're like, well, how's this going to go? Am I going to be successful in it? Am I going to be able to make a living doing this? And you're nervous about it. But the great thing about the Swords, though, is that it's usually only in our mind. It's not usually the reality. Now, that's not to say that what you're feeling is not valid. I'm not saying that, okay? But what I am saying is that the great thing of a Swords card is that it gives you some indication that there's a way out of it. And it is the 10. So it tells me you're almost out of this energy, which is great. Okay, we'll come back. We'll do a little zigzagging. Okay, so the 11th house. The 11th house is about new friendships. It's about current friends, basically all friendships, any networks that we join, memberships that we may join, new groups of people that we start hanging out with, current groups of people that we've had in our lives and whatnot. The 11th house is also wishful thinking. It's the things that come at us by surprise, the windfalls that happen, not just financial, but just soulful too. The things that we didn't know, the things that we say, oh, I never knew I needed that. And now that I have this person in my life, I realize I always needed that kind of person, or I always needed this kind of project, but I just never knew I needed that. That's what this is. And you got the High Priestess. So this is where your intuition is going to be very, very key. Because the High Priestess is very mysterious. So you could be attracting people in occult circles. So perhaps you are becoming a member of some kind of spiritual realms or groups that are very mysterious, if you will. Perhaps religious for some of you, or just spiritual without the religion, or just some kind of belief system that can be seen as esoteric. For those of you that this does not apply, it's really, Spirit is really saying, allow yourself, trust your intuition. So the groups that you're joining, or groups that you're sort of on the fence about, like, can I trust that group or that person, or should I start going to that AA class or this whatnot class? If your intuition feels heavy, and it's your intuition and not fear, right? Because there's a thin line sometimes, right? There's a thin line of trepidation between, like, there can be some paranoia and intuition, and there's a little fine line, right? So it's up to you to decipher that. But Spirit is saying to listen to your intuition and trust it in matters related to your associations. And also, I'm hearing there could be current people in your life that you already know are not good for you, that you're still hanging on to. Yeah, because the High Priestess is all about trusting what we need to let go of also. Allowing things that need to be taken off of us to be taken off, and being okay with it. Okay, the 12th house. Interestingly enough, High Priestess would represent the 12th house, which is the following house. But the 12th house is about, it's kind of the underworld. It's very similar to the 8th house in many respects, but the 12th house is, it's our secret world. It's our fantasy world in our mind. It's the things we dream up of. It's the stories we make up in our mind, and the fantastical little, like, alternate worlds. For some of us, we have alternate worlds. I know I do. I have a whole other life in my head. And a lot of people do, right? But the 12th house is very, it's also the house of sleep. It's a very psychic house. It's a very intuitive house. And you got the Seven of Pentacles. So you're going to feel, in the Seven of Pentacles, it's a couple of things here. First of all, Seven of Pentacles is about assessing something's value. So it could be your own value, right? But here, in such a creative realm, and a very intuitive, because this is also where 12th house also can relate to poetry and music and beautiful things like that. So some of you are writing or creating some deep psychic creative projects, or have in the past, and now it's time to assess the quality of that work, not just the quality, but the investment, what the investment has, what it's reaped. And you did your sewing, right? You sewed something. So either you wrote something fantastico, or you're now sleeping more than before, because it is the house of sleep. And so now you're seeing the benefits of that. So this is seeing the benefits of some effort that you put in related to those themes. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So this is very beautiful. So here's the bottom line. This is what I'm seeing. In many respects, you're starting something over. A few things in your life, actually. You are really being tested to shed your old life. Because remember, you got the Page of Pentacles and the House of Transformation. That means that in order to get the beginner Page of Pentacles there, that means that you would have had to shed something, some old identity. So either you lost your job and it's forced you to really look within yourself to see what else you can do to provide for yourself. Could be why you got the Ten of Swords here too in career, because there may have been a loss there. Others of you have been pushed to higher learning, which is a little restrictive because some of you are not used to it. You've been in the workforce for some time and now you're coming out of that. So there is a starting over, a sense of starting over. And you know, I'm getting the sense that this is for young people. So it doesn't matter your age. It could be middle age starting over here, but there are also some young people who are already starting over in early 20s. Like I feel that some of you feel this, maybe there was a degree you went after and then now midway you decided that's not what I want. So I'm feeling different age energy here. Sometimes I can sense like kind of like a little group of certain age, but here I'm feeling like all over the place. And it makes sense, right? Because we do have the page and we have the two aces. So a lot of you who are listening to this or watching this are very, very newly out of college, and you came out of college into a pandemic. And so what you went into, I don't mean to laugh, but that's like, you got to like, considering everything we've all gone through, it's almost like we almost have to laugh it off just to survive it, right? Which now things are looking up, things are looking better, right? But yeah, some of you might have just come out of college and what you thought you were coming into, the world is going to be different and it's not what you expected. So you're starting over. For others of you, you are, you know, going through that midlife point. Perhaps you have a Uranus opposition to Uranus, or, you know, something similar that's making you just want to just throw it all away and start over. But in any case, though, it looks good. It looks consistent, which is nice because it's all consistent. The message is consistent. It's about maintaining your balance. That's key. We started with that. That's number one. Maintaining your balance in all things, meaning your physical body, your romances, your whatever it is you're creating. Getting lots of rest. Rest for your soul, your heart, grieving, whatever that is. But also staying focused on working on that project that you want to work on. Some of you already have an idea of what you want to do, but you're afraid of doing it. So just go for it. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this helped someone, and I'll try to do a little picture of the wheel that I have here so you get to see it. Okay. Happy birthday, Aqua.